Hello, and thank you for joining our session today. My name is Stacey Yostin, and I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing here at Conquest Planning. And it will be my pleasure to spend the next 30 minutes or so with you discussing both the story of who Conquest is and show you a little bit about our application as well. If you haven't heard of who Conquest is, we came to market in 2018, and we are built by the original creators of the Naviplan platform. Our President and CEO, Dr. Mark Evans, has been producing and delivering software into the financial planning space for over 30 years. And he and a number of the founding team that created Naviplan came back to market in 2018 as they observed the industry not modernizing quick enough, using the latest and greatest technology and leveraging the best of what artificial intelligence has to offer in the space. So stay tuned, lean in, listen up, and let's talk a little bit about what problems Conquest is here to solve. We know in Canada today that 72% of Canadians do not have access to a financial plan. There are barriers that come with setting up financial advice and delivering financial advice. And typically those barriers are the time and effort that it takes to actually create a financial plan. There's statistics out there that it takes the average advisor over 10 hours to produce a financial plan. So Conquest got back together, or the original crew got back together to form Conquest in 2018. And in 2020, we stood up our first client in market with IG Wealth. Since that time, we have been fortunate to be undefeated to date in every RFP that we have participated in. And the reason that we've been so successful in the market, and if you haven't heard about us in the news yet, it's because of the simplified, intuitive platform that has been developed. But we also allow for simple, light plans as well. We scale our software through our proprietary artificial intelligence. And while many of you have probably heard about artificial intelligence, all of us have, it has many applications in today's world and in our society and in the experiences that we have. Our founder and CEO, Mark, that I talked about earlier, actually did his thesis in the late 80s on distributed AI. And so, ever a pioneer in the space for many years, we're very excited to be bringing to market the solution that we have for you here. So on this slide, we talk a little bit about the sleek, intuitive nature of our user interface. I'm going to show you that shortly here today. We have seamless integration capabilities. We have improved engagement with customers. There's drillable, clickable, dynamic aspects to the tool that we want to help you deepen the engagement of the customers that you work with. We also provide enhanced compliance and oversight. We understand the impacts of CRM2 and client-focused reform and ensuring that things are set up and delivered in clients' best interest. So we have taken a strategy approach to solving a financial plan rather than a product-driven approach to solving a financial plan. Throughout the solutions that we offer, we have what's called our solution universe. So I'm giving you a little sneak peek on this slide. You're seeing our new iconography around our SAM. SAM is our strategic advice manager, and you see it here in the middle of the screen. But orbiting around SAM, we have a variety of solutions that we bring to the table to help advisors plan easier, quicker, faster, without sacrificing any robustness. If you haven't heard about us in the media, we have been very fortunate this year to have been picked up by several media outlets throughout the course of the year. We're proud to say that our media that has run us is all unpaid. So this is organic, natural advertising, and it is because we're disrupting the space from a planning perspective. So we feel very grateful for the attention that we've been able to garner this year. Lastly, here's a few of the firms that we've partnered with so far. Not everybody is on this slide, but it gives you a flavor of the variety of companies that we work with and support. With that, let's jump out of our PowerPoint presentation, and I'd like to give you a demo of our tool. So I have grabbed a client file here for us today that has some pre-populated information, and we're going to go through basically a full plan for these clients. But before we do that, a couple assumptions for you to please keep in mind as we go throughout the planning process today. So first and foremost, we have our data that has already been ingested into the tool. There's essentially three ways to get data into our platform: a digital fact finder link that can go to your customers, as I talked about earlier, and clients can type in the information and it will populate the screen that you see here today. We have a very easy organized tile card system where advisors can enter the details into the platform, and everything is just clickable and drillable, and you can update things like investment profiles or model out different profiles that you want to. And the third way that we can get information into the platform is through integration to back office systems. So for the purpose of our demo today, assume that we've already populated the information into the platform and that we've set a couple goals for these clients. So we have a retirement objective. They would like to retire at age 65, and they have a set retirement need in terms of dollars and cents for that retirement. They have 2 children that are going to school, Bill Jr. and Sally. One started last year, and one is starting next year. So we'll talk about education goals, and we're going to solve that goal as well. And these clients also would like to take a trip to Greece. So we've allocated that under a major expense goal. So keep those in mind as the assumptions as we move throughout the platform here today. I'm going to familiarize you at a high level. We only have a few minutes here today, so I'm not going to do a deep dive, but I'm going to overview the dashboard, how we plan, what insurance looks like at a very high level, talk about how we stress test the plan and give you modeling capabilities within the tool to stress test the plan. And then I'm going to talk to you about the new and improved way that we've reimagined how we present plan information back to clients through our hyper-personalized digital story. So stay tuned for that. I'm looking very forward to displaying that end piece for you. On our dashboard, I'll familiarize you now to what we're looking at. So very simply, we've got the goals at the top. Everything is dynamic, so everything I can hover over, if I click on it, it'll go into. We have in-app training to make it easy to use. So we have these just-in-time help tips that pop up here that you can click on at any time. We also have a knowledge base that goes through all of the assumptions within the tool, how to get information into the tool. We even publish our very impressive monthly release cadence of all of the updates that we do on a monthly basis to the tool. So I'll encourage anybody who is getting into the platform to take a look at that knowledge base and see how robust it is. But in addition to being dynamic and clickable, you can see that we've used a speedometer style rating to indicate how close these clients are to achieving their goal. They're underfunded for retirement, same for education, and no money set aside for Greece. Legacy is just the net estate available at end of life. In the middle of the screen here, you see an analysis window. And I will tell you, I'm on a large screen here, so you're going to see it's very wide. So there's some white space on either side, but it's great for demo purposes because I can pop up multiple screens if we need to. But this analysis window is a drillable, clickable window, and it's really designed to keep a viewpoint on the charts and graphs that are meaningful and important to the user using the software. For today, I brought up the available investments tab, as well as the income summary projection and value of advice. However, we have dozens of charts and graphs that you can look at, a variety of information depending on what's important for the client that you're particularly planning for. The other thing that's really great about the analysis window is everything is dynamic. So it's drillable and clickable, which means I can click at any point on the graph, just like I did here, and bring up for you what is happening behind the scenes on that chart. And there's a breakdown. And I can scroll through year by year and see what that looks like. The bottom of the analysis window contains what we call the lifeline. The lifeline is a place that's going to, again, gain visibility for the user of the platform, so the advisor, to see what you're planning for. So we're going to populate on that lifeline things like the goals that have been set, but we'll also pick up other major life events that the tool is uncovering. So things like this mortgage that they have that's going to be paid off prior to retirement, or the number of life events that start happening in 2027. Overview is simply a net worth, liability, assets and liability overview, as well as cash flow. And one assumption within the tool to know is we take a very conservative approach to cash flow. So any cash flow that is not allocated to savings, debt, or taxes, we assume is unspecified spending, just to make the most conservative use of the cash flow possible. Lastly, the fundamental game changer in the software. I showed you a little iconography, Sam, our new image of Sam in the previous PowerPoint presentation. But right now, Sam is represented in our tool with this little robotic icon. And Sam, you can think of Sam as your digital co-planning assistant. Our strategic advice manager is going to be here to guide you on what to do next in the tool. It's also going to be responsible for re-ranking, reprioritizing, and hyper-personalizing all of the strategies that surface up for you to choose from in order to achieve the goals that we're solving for. So let's see what that looks like. I've moved over, I clicked on what Sam told me to do next, which was to go do some retirement planning. And I've popped over here into our retirement tab. Our retirement tab, once we're in the planning tab for retirement, I don't have to solve in any particular order. I could click on Greece and do that one first, or I could click on retirement and do that one first. For today, I'm going to show you retirement. We have 3 flavors of planning. Once we're in the tool, we have a step-by-step planning approach, which is really a literacy first approach to planning. We don't have time to go through that today, but again, if you're interested, you can pop by the booth later, or you can contact me and I'll be happy to go through it with you. Auto plan with Sam is just turning the plan over to our AI and have Sam actually solving the plan for you. And expert planning is what most advisors use within our tool and what I'm going to show you today. 2 things happened when I clicked on the expert planning mode. Number 1, this KPI, key performance indicator dashboard, populated up at the top of the screen here, and it's clickable. So if I click on it, it's going to open up and give me a bit more information, specifically show me what I'm planning for. So this is the need or the goal that this client has set, what we have available today, which is insufficient to meet this need. We've got a shortfall, and then we've got the current portfolio information as well as the breakdown of that portfolio. And then we have net estate at end of life. And that KPI dashboard is going to update throughout the whole process as we plan for these clients today. The second thing that you saw change on the screen is this universe of strategies that's opened up on the left-hand side of the screen. And as I noted earlier, we take a strategy approach to solving a financial plan, not a product-driven approach to solving a financial plan. And that does a number of things for you as an advisor. Of course, products are important. We need, insurance and investments to fulfill our retirement objectives and other financial planning objectives. But the reality is, in all of our lives, is we have to make decisions on what to do with our money that are action-based and not product-based. So the strategy approach allows us to look for ways to optimize client scenarios. So things like implementing the asset allocation. So to start solving the plan, all we simply do is click on a strategy. This first one here that's populated up is recommending to implement the asset allocation that is appropriate for this client. You'll see that we went from a 3.25% rate of return. Our analysis window updated automatically, and you see the longevity of our assets be extended out. Our income summary projection into retirement is also updated. And we're starting to populate the value of advice that you as an advisor provide to your clients. But what's most important that just happened is the strategies re-ranked and reprioritized. Now, you might be wondering how these strategies came to be and who coded these strategies and are they sufficient for my needs? Well, we work with professionals, CPAs and CFAs and CFPs to ensure that we have all the appropriate tax code built into this engine on both personal and corporate side, on both the personal and the corporate side. And not only that, the engine is going to rank these strategies 4 ways. So it's going to take into account who our clients, Bill and Sue, are. It's going to take into account what they have already. So what do they have in their investments? What's available from room? What's their income? What's the contribution limits? Is there an age gap between when they retire? Is there spousal contribution strategies that could be surfaced up? And it's only going to present strategies that are hyper-personalized and available for implementation by Bill and Sue. Again, that's the power of AI. And then 2 other ways it ranks is economic impact. So the green number here is just simply an indicator of how close to the objective it's going to get you. I'm going to skip CPP because I want to show it in legacy. But if I click on the save for retirement, that takes me to 95%. So that's the economic impact. But the 4th way that we have built into the engine is also considering what this client is willing to do. So not only do we look at the numbers of factually and dollars and cents, how a client can achieve their goal, we actually take the time to actually understand what they're willing to do from a strategy standpoint. So things like delay their retirement or save their tax refund or downsize their home. If you look at the strategy list over here, if I dial up this sentiment and say, yes, Bill and Sue are very willing to downsize their home, you're going to see Sam re-rank and reprioritize these strategies. And you'll see 2 strategies pop up here that lead them to be able to downsize their home in retirement and use the capital to invest or sell it and move to a rental. But Bill and Sue don't want to do that. So let's downgrade that. When we applied this save for retirement, you'll notice here a small recommendation. We actually take the effort to make a recommendation as to an ideal allocation of what to do with funds available. So in this case, Bill and Sue told us that they had $650 a month to invest. However, the engine is smart, so it knows what they have and what the contribution rooms are, what they're earning, and what the retirement time horizon is. So it's actually going to go ahead and make a recommendation for you as an advisor as to where to allocate those funds. The other thing that happened when we allocated those funds to RSPs is a new strategy populated up here. Because the engine is opportunistic, it's always going to be looking for ways to improve the plan. But we can now talk to this client about saving their tax refund and continuing to achieve this retirement objective. They're still not there. They're still 4% short. So we can start to look at other scenarios. So maybe the mortgage. that $2,000 on the lifeline that I mentioned earlier, that is 2 years of $2,000 a month that this client could put towards their retirement objective. And so allocating that to the plan has got us to 99%. And then I like to talk about what Michael Kitces calls possibilities planning. So he talks about fundamental problem with goals-based planning is the assumption that clients, when they sit down, they know actually what they want to set as a goal, financially speaking. And quite often they don't. They talk to friends or family or have ideas in their head on what they think they should do. It's not necessarily always in their best interest. Well, our engine allows you as an advisor to illustrate the concept of possibilities planning. So things like maybe this client is really healthy and they love their job and they can keep working. You now can illustrate very quickly. You see the portfolio here, when I just implemented a strategy of extending their work for an extra year. Maybe they want to work till 2028 instead of 2027 and build a surplus in their retirement account to have extra money available to them to spend during retirement. Or you could model out working part-time, or a variety of other different scenarios. And you can actually have this conversation that's very powerful with your clients, and you can uncover the art of possibility for them and do some possibility planning that maybe they hadn't thought of before. Let's pop over and solve education. Here, I just like to show that we incorporate more than just insurance and investments and strategies pertaining to lifestyle decisions. We also incorporate other types of products into the platform for solutioning. So things like banking products or loans or lines of credit. Maybe this client would benefit from the tax advantage of the deduction on a student line of credit, and they could actually take that out to fund the children's education. And what's cool about this is everything can be taken into account for holistic planning here. So you'll notice what's happening is I'm updating, I just updated it to 31,000 to get us to 100%. But you'll notice that everything is updating real time. I just lost 1% on retirement, a little bit shy of that, just because we got to pay off this line of credit now. If we go over to trip to Greece and we allocate towards this goal, you'll see that it took money from my retirement. I was at 106, now I'm at 105. So again, this removes the trial and error, and the system does it for you. So it means that snappily, as an advisor and accurately, you can plan for all these goals very quickly, and you don't have to go back and remodel the impact to the other goal. I want to show you very briefly our decumulation calculation engine because it is a strategic differentiator for us in market. Our team built the original decumulation calculation engine behind the predecessor's product, and they had some great learnings and how they've implemented and reimagined how to optimize income in retirement. So in legacy is where you're going to plan with your clients with things like how much to leave to heirs or net to charity goals or plan for final taxes. So of course, this is where you can present some insurance recommendations. But retirement paycheck is a really powerful decumulation area that you can actually illustrate things like when to take CPP. And there are, I'll have to steal from Jason Pereira. He says there are 29 million iterations of dates that you can take, CPP, OAS, and RIF, possible iterations of combinations of those. And we believe that using an engine to do those calculations empowers an advisor to do what they do best. So a tech-enabled, human-centered experience, we think, is the best of both worlds for our industry moving forward. And so we've built this paycheck to be able to maximize, maybe we're managing taxable income, and that'll actually push out TFSAs till further on the plan and start to liquidate RIFs a bit earlier. And you can see here the immediate impact to the client is an increase in their net estate of $162,000. So this is a very powerful engine to make your job much easier and more efficient to do. Talking about our insurance, we have a built-in needs analysis calculator in this platform that allows advisors to, at a base level, high level, start to introduce T10 coverage. You can see in here what the settings are, and they're all adjustable in here. However, you can also upload a variety of illustrations from any carrier that you might be working with. So also you see here, I'm going to mention, because I'm here, corporations. This is not a corporate client that we're reviewing here today, but we do have full corporate planning functionality. Be happy to explain that to you at a future date if you're interested in viewing that. When you upload the illustrations, all the data points in the CSV get picked up and put back into SAM, our strategic advice manager. And the power of that is that you can show the impact of those variety of policies on the overall situation of a client and help them really understand how this is going to meet their protection needs. In What If is where we take our take on stress testing the plan. I like to call it a sleep at night factor. So you might have clients who are nervous to invest with you, and they say things like, because the market crashes, just put me in GICs, I can't sleep at night. And even though maybe their RTQ indicates that they have, time horizon and enough risk tolerance to be able to take on a different portfolio, they're too nervous to sleep at night because they're concerned about market returns or potential market volatility. In our What If module, you have the ability to model out very customized things or a variety of different things. So in this case, I'm showing you what if the market crashes 1 year after retirement. So a very impactful point of time from a sequence of return standpoint for there to be a market crash. And model it out that it will last for 4 years and have a 67% recovery effectiveness. By doing that, you can actually show the impact of the plan and the impact of their portfolio. And in this case, it's actually not too bad. But if I were to update it to, let's say, 40% really quickly here, they're going to have a shortfall. So we've implemented this concept of proactive and reactive strategies so that they can go into the plan for you to actually help these clients sleep at night. So a proactive strategy is indicated by a light bulb and a reactive by a lightning bolt. And a reactive strategy would just be, hey, Bill and Sue, you're not going to lose your home if this market crash happens, but you will have a bit of a shortfall. Would you be willing to work for 10 years and earn $10,000 a year? Do you think that's possible if this kind of market event happens? And so you can put that reactive strategy as part of their plan to help them sleep at night, to know that you've had a conversation about it and you've planned for it. But you can also talk about, longevity of clients' lives and what if one partner passes away sooner or both, and you can model those out. All right, as we round out and complete sort of our demo here today, I wanted to end by sharing this with you and talking about the how we present the plan information. So earlier I said the hyper-personalized digital story, which we're very excited about, but at base level with 3 ways you can present the plan information. The first way is by this to-do list, and the to-do list can be sorted by goal, by owner, by action date, or by strategy. It can be sorted by to do now and to do later. And think about this. We can connect it to a CRM at an enterprise level, and we can set it up to trigger notifications, to send notes to go back to the client and close that feedback loop saying, congratulations, we've implemented your portfolio. You're one step closer to achieving your results. Well, I'm not showing you the client portal today, but we do have a client portal that comes with this, and you can digitally co-plan real time with your client in a decentralized fashion without screen sharing. We have a basic PDF report, which is customizable. You can add any appendix you want to that report. We've gotten away from the extra long reports that we know clients don't really get highly engaged from. But inside our PDF report, it's all brandable and white labelable to your company's name. You can drag and drop what you want in here and put your own personal bio, but you present this as a PDF that can be emailed or printed and given to the client. And you can add custom notes and things of that nature to have it really direct look and feel for your clients. But lastly is the concept of this digital story. So the hyper-personalized digital story is a new way to engage a client for life that they're working with you. So rather than a static output, think about every financial planning software today. It's the same output with updated information quarterly, annually, monthly, depending on how often you meet with your client. And it's great to give updated numbers, don't get me wrong, but we think that customers are expecting and end clients are expecting better experiences when it comes to financial services. They want to engage more with their financial planning process. And so we are the team, developed this hyper-personalized digital story. And inside the story editor is the ability to actually expose stories to your client that can look and feel different every time you talk to them. So maybe the first one that you talk to your clients about is this welcome story. You show them how the plan is that you just put together. You review how you achieved all the objectives that we just planned here for today. Everything is drillable and clickable. So we always include literacy as to why and how. And this is the client clicking on these. Everything is drillable again and clickable. So if you have engineering or accounting clients or technical clients, they can still get all of that back end information and see where those numbers are coming from. You can embed YouTube videos and a variety of other things. So it's a better experience for the client to see. But the format of this story doesn't have to be the same story that you show at, say, your mid-year review. So imagine at a mid-year review going in and talking to a client about maybe the value of your advice. Maybe it's their mid-year review and you actually want to show them impact of, monetarily speaking, of what you've given them as guidance. And so you could show them, Bill and Sue, did you know it's nice to see you again? We haven't met for 6 months, but hey, I thought this would be interesting for you to see. Did you know you can spend over $2 million more during your lifetime? You can leave $1.3 million more to your family, and you can owe almost $1 million less in taxes after you've implemented my advice than before. That's pretty cool, hey? And you can ask for a referral for any friends or family that might be interested in doing that. So again, everything in here, drillable, clickable, and optimizable and customizable. So it allows individuation to be able to put into the story that you want to present to your clients. That is the end of our demo today. I want to thank everybody for joining us and for paying attention. It's a lot of information to cover in a very short period of time, but I'll invite everybody to please go ahead and happy to answer any questions that you have, and pop by our website if you would like more information at conquestplanning.com. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, and if you have time, you could also pop by our booth and I will be there to answer your questions. So with that, thank you very much.